Looking for love and dating apps and DMs. Looking for love and nothing is sticking. Seeing red flags, getting catfished. What's up? Gotta do now that I found two gals and that'll help me. I just can't wait to get adjacent to you. Looking for love.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome to Adjacent, Single, Ready to Mingle. We are still in our series of talking about LoveCon Revenge, and we have watched episodes, all of the remaining episodes, so we're going to recap them today. So in episode 3, we meet a beautiful woman named Shariza, and she is a self-made millionaire, has come from really challenging life. She was adopted. She had a lot of challenges in her life, and she raised 2 amazing, strong-willed daughters. And she finds this old heartthrob, right, from high school?
Yeah.
Doc Dorian Wilkerson. So Dorian Wilkerson was posing as a medical doctor and having a PhD in math. Is that how you remember it, Shelly?
Yes.
So Shariza was a love bomb for sure. He basically started using him as his very own ATM.
Well, he was like, hey, will you invest in my company? And she goes, no, not until like we're married. I'm not doing that. And so he turns around and proposes to her like the next day. And he's just like, okay, now we're married.
So I'm gonna ask you something about proposals. I think when people propose in front of a big group, you're putting somebody on the spot that they can't really escape from.
Well, and I've heard people, because it was in front of a group, say yes, and then when they get behind closed doors, say, hey, I just didn't want to embarrass you, but no, we're not getting married.
Yeah. So she even said, she goes, he had invited my whole family.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look like indecisive, but it seemed really quick. She wanted to be able to raise her daughters with what she was seeing as a man, and she thought, we're going to be a power couple.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
And I do think they were a power couple, or perceived as a power couple, as a power family, and like a leader in the community and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody was invested. You guys, he was practicing as a plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
And he was recording procedures and putting them on social media and YouTube and everything. It was so messy. It was so messy.
We come to find out that he's not a medical doctor. He
does
have a PhD in math, and he was a professor. Also, like, he uprooted himself pretty quickly to go and create. He wanted to create like a plastic surgery center. And so he moved. He recreated his life. She invested over $2 million in his company. And all these other doctors were also investing. And then they weren't getting paid.
Yeah.
And so they started like bailing. They're like, we're out. We're not playing this game. And then they started to see how shoddy things were, and how at first it was touted as this really luxurious med spa. And then it became the opposite of that. And then what you notice is when he stopped recording himself doing procedures, the only thing he started to do was injectables. He wasn't doing like breast augmentation or butt implants or any of that stuff. He started to lean more into the injectables, which you don't have to be a qualified doctor to be, but you you have to go through some serious trainings to do that.
You have to be at least a nurse. Yeah. And
Yeah.
but so they went through the whole thing. He also stole one of the daughters' identity and took out credit cards and did a lot of scams that way. And he was the one person in this situation that had no repercussions.
Well, actually, I looked it up. He has repercussions now.
Oh, thank God. I was like, holy crap.
They basically reported him to the police. The police was like, they were like, we don't see any criminal activity here, but he is now facing some charges and he's lost his job. He does deny all allegations against him. And
deny until you die. I mean,
yeah. But Shelly's right. If they start asking you for some major cash, you got to say no. Also, I think he was like, girls, I need your social security numbers and your license. I'm going to store them over here just so they're safe. No. So he could pull out a bunch of credit in their names.
Oh,
so sad.
It's so sad. And I want to address something is I'm not trying to be holier than thou on don't give them money. I have been in a relationship that was very toxic on both sides and for a very long time. And there was, at a point where, there was pretending that they didn't have money and it was like, how am I going to pay for school this semester? And I flipped the bill and I paid for. So I've been in this situation. I've been in a very toxic relationship where I was isolated from friends and family, and it was very toxic and gross and on both sides. And so I've been there, and I'm not, I'm just saying at this age and this mindset, if somebody was like, hey, that I would be like, no, thank you. I'm not going down that road again. It was a learned lesson. So I understand how people get conned, and I don't want to act like I want to get conned. I was conned. And so
I think as women, we are natural caretakers.
Yeah.
And we like to solve a problem. Oh, I see a problem. I think if I just do X, Y, and Z, I could solve it. And so you were looking for solutions. Unfortunately, it was you fitting, the bill over there. And I think you learned really quickly, like, this is not sustainable. I'm going to have to move. And then you moved out of the state.
I did. I had, and even, while I was in the toxic relationship, other relationships became toxic. And it was like, it would just, I needed a reset, and moved to Wyoming, met Adrian day one, and that's all she wrote.
I think a lot of times women get into relationships and the roller coaster ride gets really hard to get off of, but take it from us, once you get off that roller coaster ride, it's so freeing to be out of a stressful situation where you don't know how that person's going to react, walking on eggshells, constantly having to, watch what you say and you do, and then them pulling in like just the constant drama, like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. And then I remember you and I both, like, when we got into healthier relationships with our now husbands, we didn't know how to react. Like, if there wasn't a little drama, we would create drama. And it was like both of our husbands were like, what the hell is this? Nuh-uh. No, we're not doing that. Mm-mm. And I'm appreciative to them putting their boundaries up, because nobody needs all that drama all the time. It is just bathing your brain in cortisol. That's why we end up putting on all that extra weight. We end up not being healthy, not being able to get into healthy cycles. And so trying to get out of that is a good idea as quickly as possible so that you're not swindled out of $2 million.
Agreed. And I admire these, the young ladies that we have interviewed that are like, you have to bring something to the table for me to stop being single because my life is fantastic.
Right.
I have a great group of friends. My life is full and beautiful. You have to bring your A game. And so I admire, I'm a huge cheerleader for it. I love when they're like, yeah, you have to be exceptional for me not to be single.
Yeah.
I love it.
So in the 4th episode, that's when we meet the geek girl scammer. And this is when this poor guy, I just felt so sad because you could tell he was like so open for love, so ready for it. And then he meets this girl who kind of hits all the boxes. They have so much in common. They're both kind of that geeky, into the same stuff. They like their video games, their cosplay, their all of that. And he finds himself in a relationship with what they would call a gold digger.
Oh my gosh, she was a mess.
Oh my gosh, Shelly. So a lot of fraudulent women fall into where they come up with fake medical conditions. So Aaron meets Sabrina on a dating app, Chihuahua, and then they are both involved in the comic festivals and the dressing up and all of that. They hit it off immediately. She's showing him a lot of, love bombing. They move in pretty quickly with each other, and he starts paying her rent and buying her stuff, and he's trying to be a supportive partner to her. And then she starts complaining that she has all these health issues. She goes to the doctor and is diagnosed or pretending that she has MS, multiple sclerosis. And it's a rare chronic condition, of course. Unfortunately, Aaron's grandfather had those conditions, which eventually he died from. And so he has a soft spot in his heart, right? And so he starts paying all her bills and taking care of her. Meanwhile, she's taking like the $500 that he's giving her, and going and buying bags and all the, not going to the doctor. And he keeps asking her like, hey, can I see your medical bills? And she goes, can I see like the synopsis? Can I see? And she would just say, no, I threw that away. What? This reminds me so much of Vicky Golverson on Real Housewives. When she was with Brooks and he was making cancer, allegedly, whatever. But if they're not willing to show you their medical reports, and you're paying all their bills because you're being so kind, Aaron, and you're trying to take care of her while she's sick, that's a red flag. That's a huge red flag. They should be inviting you to their doctor's appointments, not having you wait in the waiting room or in the car. Oh, I'm just going to run in and go get my chemo real quick. You just hang out here. They're not going to get their chemo. They're like sitting in the stairwell or going to get a coffee at the
they're walking out the back door. Yeah,
that's what happened with Brooks. Yeah, he would just walk out the back.
Yeah.
But poor Aaron. What did you think of all of that?
Oh, I found it very sad. I find the whole conning thing just so disturbing.
Again, if they would just get a job, could you
Yeah.
imagine what they could be?
Well, the anxiety of all the lying and everything is like, and then the last one, I was like, damn it, is about baseball, and I was like, no, not a baseball player. You did military and baseball. That hit too hard. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, of course, Aaron and his girlfriend, they broke up, and she did not suffer any consequences for her criminal activity
with him because he waited too long.
Right.
And so if you've been conned in any shape or form, make those phone calls, get it reported as quickly as possible. And so, because there is a statute of limitation. And so that was, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And it's probably defined regionally, the statute of limitation. I also think it gets messy when you become a partnership. And what legally is identified as a partnership in a community is being aware of that. And so, yeah, oi.
Yes. So, the last scammer is when Lindsay meets a baseball player, Christopher. He said that he used to be a LA league player with rounds of him playing videos, also refereeing, I guess. I saw him in refereeing clothes or clothes. And he convinces her to give him $140,000. She basically wrote her mom's 401k after she passed away over to him.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this one. So she, yeah, her mom passed away. She took the 401k, and he allegedly worked for an investment company.
Yes.
And the you guys, if you know anything about Las Vegas, this is going to make you laugh. One of the investments was for Planet 13, which is
a
marijuana house in Vegas.
Yes. Oh no.
Oh yeah. And so that's where the check was distributed to, which made me laugh.
Well, this is pro con. This is what they do. They get you to give them a large investment amount, and they'll say you will get 10% of your money back really quickly. So they immediately, almost within a few days, to build your confidence in them. That's why they're called con men. It's for confidence men. They build your confidence in them, and they give you a quick payback. And you're like, whoa, I'm going to make so much money on this if I'm already getting this. But then right after that, they will come up with a million bazillion excuses why they can't give you that next check. Oh, they're not cutting checks. Oh, that company switched. Oh, I can't get a hold of my investor. Hold on, he just moved companies. So then you're like waiting on pins and needles for your next thing, and it never comes. Like,
and then you're out of statute of limitation. I mean, that is such a thin line.
Yes. So poor Lindsay kept persisting to try to get in touch. And she was like, she didn't make a ton of money. She basically, and the 401k is what she was going to split with her siblings.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she lost other people's money.
Yes.
Yikes. How do you go to Thanksgiving after that?
Oh, I'm serious. They're probably looking at her like, what the heck?
Let's go ahead and set up a payment plan.
Yeah.
$100 a week. Let's go. Yeah. Oh my lands.
Well, she wasn't alone. There were multiple people that were also swindled by this guy. And I mean, it's just the saddest thing I've ever seen. He definitely played some future faking. That's when they're like, oh, we're going to set up our home. We're going to have children. I want to have children with you. You're not going to have to work anymore. We're going to make so much money. We're going to travel. He would make vacation plans, promise to buy properties. I mean, this future faking is a big thing, especially for people who are wanting all those things in their life, that they're open for that. So she fights him. She tells herself, she said she was never very good with money, that she was gullible. People aren't gullible. They're telling you what you want to hear. You just need a good girl squad who will go, we need to figure out if this is true or not. I mean, I could see Shelly and Kim going, hold on, we're going to do a quick investigation on this.
Yeah. I'm just gonna, we're gonna, and I think because it's happening so regularly, sadly, that lean on the side of caution.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Lean. I have a tendency, like Pam, where the whole pie club, we go in and it's like, here's our whole heart. Be a little slow on it. Dot the T's, cross the T's and dot the I's, and make sure this is legit and this person can go an entire year without asking for money. And
well, also, so all of this really started with the Tinder swindler.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give y'all some hints. If the guy has plenty of dates, he probably can find women and whoever, men, whatever. So be careful of that. But also at the end, what I loved about the Tinder, he did go to jail for a little bit, but he was out doing his scams all over again. But one of the girls that he swindled was into like Poshmark, where you resell high quality name brand clothes. And so he was dying for money, and she goes, I'll help you. I can sell your clothes for you and I'll give you all that money back. She had given him, I think, maybe 50 to 100,000 that he was using in the same poor way that he was, scamming all these other women. But she met him in like the south of France or somewhere really posh, got all of his name brand clothes, his Louis, his Gucci's, all of that. Brought 3 empty suitcases with her, packed them up with all his clothes, his name brand clothes, took them back to where she was living, I think in Amsterdam, and sold all of those clothes on like Poshmark.
Oh my gosh, so crazy.
And he was getting so mad. He was like screaming at her on voicemails and then texting her. And you're scamming me. And it's like, she's like, because he would say, where's my money? She said, oh, it's coming. And she was just pocketing all of that money that she got from he had some really nice clothes. He had beautiful, nice clothes, but it was all from scams, all of it. And so she scammed the scammer.
Well, and now because I've watched these shows, it has thrown off my Netflix algorithm, and it's making all these awful recommendations like that Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. And so I watched that, and I mean, it's just one episode, and it's from 2024, where this poor girl is just her cousin. I mean, just catfished her for years.
Oh, I know that one. It's so awful.
It's devastating.
Oh my gosh. It was her cousin, this girl.
Oh my gosh.
And I felt so bad because she was sending like stock photos or different Instagram photos from some other guy. The catfisher.
Yeah.
And so then this poor girl that had fallen in love with Sweet Bobby thought this was like a real deal, and it wasn't, and it was so heartbreaking. I feel so bad for the poor victim in that crime. And then talk about not being able to go to Thanksgiving. It caused a rift in the family because the family didn't want her to press charges against her cousin. And she was like, but something has to happen. She basically scammed me and catfished me for years. And there was no real consequence.
Well, and all these people getting conned, because I lived it, I have to say, you have to do some self-reflection.
Yeah.
This is not external. It's not only external. Yes, a con man has come into your life, but you have to do some self-reflection on, why was I vulnerable to this? Why? Because she stopped living. She just sat in front of that computer.
Yeah.
It's like she slept with the computer open,
Well, and AI is getting so good and technology is getting so advanced that voice changing software is available and all that. I can't blame the victim, but I will say
but you have to
but I think you do have to reflect and say, what am I attracting into my life? And how can I attract what I really need and what's healthy for me? So,
I'm not trying to blame the victim. I've been there, I've lived it, and it's awful. I got to get culture to therapy, but I real quick, Jeff Hiller, our friend Melissa's brother, won an Emmy.
Oh my gosh, of course. Good for him. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
That book is so great. If you haven't read it, Actress of a Certain Age, please go out and get it. You can link it on our website, and our Shelly has also been working really hard on our YouTube channel. So search up us on the YouTube.
Subscribe.
It is so cute to see all the people in we got to step up our game, Shelly.
I know. Hey, you guys, and big news. This Saturday, we are doing our first YouTube live episode with our friend Jordan.
Yep, Jordan's going to be in town, so don't hesitate to watch. It's going to be something unique and fun for us to try and do, and we hope it's a big success. Anyway, get culture to therapy. I love you so much. Texas.
Yeehaw!